Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and one of the questions that people have been asking me the most lately when I've been making these videos is, how come you don't discuss real natties? Why don't you discuss people who you think truly are natty, or probably natty, or most likely natty, who are famous and making it in the industry? And the reason is because this industry, as of today, doesn't allow for real natties to make a living in it. Let me repeat that. The current fitness industry, in the way that it is set up, the way it is sponsored, the way it is run, doesn't allow for true natties to actually be able to make a living in the industry. So there are no big names in the industry who are legit full-on natty, brah. And it's because of a number of reasons. Number one, the standards that have been set by all these fake natties that have been pumped up over the years have created a standard that requires heavy drug use combined with pretty good genetics in order to even achieve the look that's considered acceptable to be in the industry. You just simply cannot obtain the look completely clean due to the standards set by fake natties. All the natty standards that are out there now are set by people stacking Trenbolone and Primobolan together for 3 years straight. That is your natty standard now. So when you have a standard like that set, there is no way for naturals to come in, because someone who is a true natty who's really done well and say trained 5 years, really effectively dieted perfect, they're not going to be impressive enough to meet the industry standards. And you shouldn't take that as a sign that you should all jump on gear. It's a sign that you should step back and ignore this stupid ass industry and realize that you've been sold illusions and pipe dreams and bullshit to try to sell you products. And the truth is, people talk about the illegal component. Well, these guys can't talk about it because of the legal aspect. Well, you have guys in the UK like Simi and Panda who are clearly on shitloads of drugs, shitloads, not even just a little bit. Most of you can't even afford their drug bill, who do it in a country where it's completely legal. But because the industry, their sponsorships, everything else will not allow them to make any claim other than they're natural, they can't make a living in their industry anymore. Now, we could get angry at them for knowingly going into an industry that requires them to be a liar and use lots of drugs and lie about it and claim natty to sell supplements and programs and everything else to get their photographs taken, to get interviews, the sponsorships they need. And there might be some truth to that. They probably knew they were getting into that to some extent, but I see a lot of young men who get sucked into the industry and want to be involved with it so bad because of what they see online and everything, that they don't really fully grasp that concept until they're already entrenched into it. So some of them maybe are going into that not fully understanding that. And people like me talking about this is what makes you guys aware of it. I don't recommend that any of you get involved in the fitness industry, because you will have to sell your soul. You will have to use a lot of drugs, and you will have to lie your ass off about it. You will have to be a liar and a con man to make it in this industry. That is what this whole industry is built on. And only a handful of people, because of independent things like YouTube that has allowed them an alternate source of income in the fitness industry, could even admit the truth of what they do. But that kills them in the rest of the industry. And even then, the few that can admit it and get away with it are using such massive amounts that it is hard for them to lie about it anyways. A lot of the guys who are more conservative with their use still need to lie about it because they don't look impressive enough to be on drugs, even though they really are actually doing quite well for being on drugs by the real world standards. So when you have an industry that has created a standard that can only be achieved with heavy drug use, how in the hell am I supposed to talk about impressive people who aren't on drugs? None of you are going to be impressed by them. And at a certain point, because of the way this industry is built, do they even matter? If you're looking at other people to set your standards of what you think you should achieve personally or to be inspired by, if that is your goal, if that's what you need personally, you probably need to go ahead and get on drugs, because you're never going to obtain these unrealistic goals without heavy drug use. Most of the guys a lot of you think of as your natty heroes, or they might be natty or might be mild users, might be using 2 grams a week. And I know guys on YouTube, I know people out there in the industry who some of you argue about whether they're on gear or not, who I've talked to them personally about their drug stacks, and they're on a lot of gear. You would really be surprised what some of them use. It's not 500 milligrams of testosterone a week and nothing else. So truthfully, this industry has no place for true natties anymore. That's just the unfortunate nature of the industry. And if that is what you are looking for, is true natties, you need to step away from the online fitness community completely, because you're not going to find them here. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go. Oh, Mount Bicepius.